boom. All right. Okay. So if you're seeing my screen and you're seeing it clearly, when X is 0, that's this point right there at the origin. What's the Y value right there?
0 and 0.
0. Okay. Actually, just slide those down.
Which are we just doing like, oh, that problem. Okay, sorry.
We will get through all of them, or we'll go as quickly as we can. This is important though, to make sure this is clear. Let's say X is 1. What is the Y value there?
1 and 1.
Okay. And how about if X is -1?
That means it's -1 and +1.
Right. And if X is 2, what's the Y value?
2 and 2.
Okay. And if it's -2, what is the Y value?
-2 and 2.
+2. +2. So notice everything in the Y column here is positive except for 0. Do you see that? Like absolute value always returns positive or 0.
Yeah.
Always. And you have to know that. Like you have to know this table, roll out of bed Friday morning. You need to know this table that well. And these 5 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You should know that it's a V-shaped. Okay, that will help you as well. Any questions on that before we move to a real problem, real thing that they're asking you to do?
No, but how do you just start on that? Like, how do you just start on it?
What do you mean start on that?
Like
mean,
the f x equals x. Like, how do you just? Can you explain to me like how you?
You're talking about this f of x equals
Yeah, how do you
absolute
start the
value?
graph?
Okay, so let's say you didn't have this graph, is what I think I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get rid of the graph for the moment.
We don't need to get through this. Yeah.
Okay, so let's say this is the origin. That's
Yeah.
0, 0. We need to
Do
graph
you
each
always just kind of assume it's 0, 0 is the origin if
for
there's no number?
for this point, for this function, 0, 0 is on the graph.
Because there's no number, it's just x.
So I think what you're asking is like, why is the absolute value of 0, 0?
Yeah, but I'm not, yeah, because like the f of x equals x, usually there would be like a number in there, right?
Well, this means the absolute value of x. These two vertical bars mean the absolute value of x.
Hold on, let me write that.
And it's a new function to you. You know, like you said, you've never seen this before.
Yeah. Okay.
And the instructor should have said something like absolute value means the distance from 0. Did they? Yes, no, maybe.
Did what?
Did they say something like absolute value is the distance from 0?
No.
Okay. Well, we'll try to answer some of that then. So let me back up here a little bit then. I didn't realize this was so unclear. It's not your fault. The absolute value of 7 is 7. Okay. The absolute value of -7 is also 7. Absolute value always returns a positive number. The output on the right here is always positive or 0.
Okay.
So if I ask you for the absolute value of 3, you would say 3.
Yeah.
The absolute value of -3 is also
-3.
the output is always positive or 0. These vertical bars mean you have to give me a positive number.
Okay, let me write that down. Wait, it's output positive or 0?
The output is always positive or 0. It's never negative. In other words, it's never negative.
Okay, got it.
So the absolute value of -3 is 3.
Yeah.
Okay, the output is always positive.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say I wanted the absolute value of -5. What would you say?
It's +5.
+5. How about the absolute value of 6?
Just 6.
Good. Okay, now the way the graph works, the way this table works is x and then f of x equals the absolute value of x. So what you do is you take an input, like let's say it's 0, and you first determine what is the absolute value of 0.
0.
Okay. How about 1? What is the absolute value of 1?
Just 1.
Okay. How about -1? What's the absolute value of -1?
Positive 1.
Okay. Absolute value of 2.
Positive 2.
How about -2? What is the absolute value of -2?
2.
Okay, so notice for each of these, I take the value on the X column, put it into the absolute value, and it returns this number here on the right.
Okay. Okay, I see. So X and Y, it's always like, well, on the X side, will it always usually be the negatives?
Well, these are ordered pairs now. Think of this number on the right as being a Y value. So you have
Okay.
so it's -2, comma 2. So the ordered pair that you would graph is -2, comma 2. That -2 comes from the X, the 2 comes from the Y.
Okay.
And then for the next one, it's -1, comma 1, -1, comma 1, and then 0, comma 0. Same thing. You're grabbing the value from the X column and the value from the Y column.
Yeah.
And then it's 1, comma 1, 2, comma 2. So these are what we graph.
Okay.
So we go to our XY plane, and the order doesn't matter. Like we can graph this -2, 2 first. -1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, and 2, 2. And
Okay.
you're supposed to see a V. You're like, oh, there's a V.
Yeah.
Like that.
It's usually always supposed to be a V.
Yes.
Okay.
Could be a V up. Could be a
down.
V down. Yeah. We're gonna maybe see those in this lesson. I'm not really sure. But let's just start with this. Is there anything about what we've talked about unclear? More explanation
No,
needed?
this is making sense here.
Okay. Now, unfortunately, your instructor does something weird here. So we're gonna come back. We're just gonna graph these. I don't know why they're doing this, but we're gonna do this slightly differently than what you're seeing here.
Okay.
Why are they doing this? Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, I guess we will do it the way they want here. All right. So here's problem number 1. Okay, so we'll get to the instructions in a moment. I'm going to just talk you through this. Do you see that there's a number here equals the absolute value of X minus 1? Like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's really 2 things here. There's the 3, and then there's the absolute value of X minus 1. Okay, so we're gonna put the 3, with the Y1, and then the absolute value of X minus 1 with the Y2. So you can think of the 3 as being on the Y1 side, and the absolute value of X minus 1 on the Y2 side.
Okay.
Now let's look at Y2 first, and let's make a table. X, absolute value of X minus 1. Okay, and let's start with a nice number. Let's start with 0. Okay, what is the absolute value of 0 minus 1?
0.
So that part's 0, and then you subtract 1. What does that become?
-1.
-1.
So everything is gonna turn negative in this.
Maybe. Let's get through a few more here.
Oh no, never mind. Okay.
That's you jumped to conclusions there on that one.
Yeah.
So now with the 1, it's the absolute value of 1 minus 1.
0.
That is 0. How about the absolute value of 2 minus 1?
1.
Good. Let's go the other direction. The absolute value of -1 minus 1.
-2.
It is not -2. The absolute value of -1 is 1. 1 minus 1 is
0.
0. So the number on the right is not always positive or negative. Like it can move between there.
Okay.
Last one here, absolute value of -2. What is that?
Negative 0.
Nope, absolute value of -2.
1.
Nope, let's go back up and look.
Wait,
What's the absolute value of 7?
7.
Absolute value of -7.
7. I
So
guess it's 2.
it always produces a positive or 0.
So 2.
2, but then when you subtract 1, what does that become?
1.
1. So these are your ordered pairs here. So let's do those in red here on the right. These are your ordered pairs.
Okay.
-2, 1, left 2, up 1.
Good.
Left 2, up 1. Okay. -1, 0 is just left 1.
Yeah.
0, -1 is down here.
Yeah.
That's the vertex we're going to find out. 1, 0 means right 1. I'm on this fourth point, 1, 0. And then
Okay.
2, 1, right 2, up 1. Do you see that this has a V to it, a V shape?
Yes, I do see this.
Right. And they always should have a V shape. Like that. Any questions on that before we graph the other one?
No.
Okay. So when you have
Wait,
Y,
yeah, actually I do. Sorry.
okay, go for it.
The y1 equals 3. Why did we start with like 2 instead of 3?
No, everything we just did was for the second one.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Everything was for this. We're going to come back. We need to graph the other one. We're going to do that in blue.
Okay, I see.
Okay, so
Why did we start at 2 then?
we started at -2.
Yeah, why did we start at -2?
So it's a good question. The parent function usually want 2 values left and right of the vertex. So that's why we went left -2, left to -1. We also went right 1 and right 2.
Okay.
It's kind of like you're always going to go -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Can we talk about y equals 3 now?
Yeah.
Whenever you have y equals a number, this is always a horizontal line.
So whenever y equals number, it's a horizontal line.
Yeah, and more specifically, it's a horizontal line through 3.
Okay.
So here's 3 on the y-axis. It's a horizontal line through 3. That means that y is always 3.
Okay.
Y is always 3. Okay. Does the V intersect the line?
Does the v?
Does
Yeah,
the
yeah,
red intersect the blue?
it does.
It does. It does there and it does there. We need those ordered pairs. Can you tell me either of those ordered pairs, please?
It is 3 and 3.
So
Or
here's
no,
where
no. Sorry,
Yep.
sorry. 3 and 4, and
So here's 3, 4.
yeah, and
That's
then
that's not right. That's up way up here. We want this one.
4 and 3. Sorry.
Or 3. Order matters.
Yeah. How do I know which one goes first?
X comes before Y in the alphabet. X comes before Y when you're graphing.
Oh, yeah, okay. And then negative 4 and 3.
Yes. Very good. Any questions on that?
No.
Okay, we should do, it says solve algebraically. We should do that later. We should just focus again on the graphing
Yeah,
until
okay.
that's clear, and then we'll come back if we've got time for that. Okay, so I arbitrarily just said the 1 is the y1 and the absolute value of x is the y2 -2. Like I'm just picking that. You could switch the order. Like you'd be like, hey, I want the y2 to be 1, but it doesn't really matter. But I'm gonna just use the same convention that we used last time and make absolute value of x -2 the y2.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. Now we're gonna make a table here, X, and then we want Y. Y is the absolute value of X minus 2. And you always, until further notice, will be using these 5 values, -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2.
Okay. Gotcha.
A little more information on that is like usually you use 2 values like left of what you think, 2 values right of what you think, and have the center, a number in the center. It's like trying on clothes, you know, one bigger, one smaller, one just right.
Yeah.
All right. So now to do this, let's do the easy ones first. Let's start at 0. What is the absolute value of 0?
0.
But then when you subtract 2, what does that become?
-2.
Yes. And see how we're doing this in pieces. You first find the absolute value of 1.
Yeah.
What is that?
1. Or
Minus, then you
-1.
subtract 2. So 1 minus 2.
1.
Try
-1.
again. -1. Good. Absolute value of 2.
-2.
Minus 2.
0.
Yes. And then you do the same thing for these up ones up here. So you first find the absolute value of -1.
1.
Subtract 2.
1. -1.
-1. Absolute value -2.
0. Or it's 0. Sorry.
That's 2 minus 2 is 0. Yeah. Okay. So then you go and you graph these points. All right. The ordered pairs here, -2, 0. X comes before Y. So that's left 2, down 0.
Yeah.
Then it's -1, -1. That means left 1 and down 1. -1, -1, left 1, down 1. X goes left, then Y. 0, -2 means you're going to stay right where you are, but then go down 2.
Yeah.
And then 1, -1 means right 1, down 1. And then the last one, 2, 0 means right 2, up 0.
Okay.
Do you see the V?
Yes, I do see the V.
If you don't see a V when you're doing this, you have done something wrong.
Yeah. Or
So
it might be backwards.
Yeah, you have to see it when you're doing
Oh, you
this.
see the V. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, now we're going to graph the other one here in blue. What kind of line is this? What's the word that we use to describe this line?
Horizontal line.
Horizontal, and it's through 1. It's through the value of 1, the Y value of 1. Y is always 1. Y is always 1 along this line. That's another way to read it. The 2 lines intersect.
Yeah.
I'd like you to give me those intersection points, please.
One of them is oh wait, the blue or the red line?
The intersection point. Where do they intersect? Where does the red intersect with the blue?
3 and 1.
Okay, very good.
And
then
3 and 1.
Perfect. Any questions on that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, let's do another one here. We'll do number 3 because it's probably the last one we'll be able to get to. It's got a little wrinkle to it, a little difference in the others.
Okay.
All right, so y1 is -1, y2 is the negative absolute value of x plus 2.
Wait, what? I'm sorry.
I'm just moving these things down. -1 is down here, and then the absolute value, negative absolute value of x plus 2 is down here.
Yeah.
So in words, though, this is really important. In words, the order is you first take the absolute value of the number, then you negate it, then you add 2.
Yeah.
So
on this one, we're going to be adding 2.
After you take the absolute value, after you negate it. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's start with 1 here. So it's the absolute value of 1. What is the absolute value of 1?
1. Or
Okay, and then,
-1,
no,
sorry.
no, it's one. It's one. Try to only answer the question I'm asking, because that'll help us work our way through it. The
Yeah,
absolute value of one is one.
I thought when it's a positive, when it's like, I thought it turns into a negative.
Let's go back and look. What is the absolute value of 7?
Oh, it's when the negative turns into the positive. Okay, sorry.
You have to remember that. Like, that's the only thing you have to remember from today is like the absolute value always returns a positive or 0. Like
Yeah,
the
okay.
absolute value of 0 is 0. So that's the only one, but the rest are all positive.
Absolute value always turns into a positive.
Yes. Yes. Like, get that tattooed on your brain, which I don't even know how that's possible, but you have to remember this. Like I don't know. I mean, that you can't be successful in the class if you don't know that.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so I'm trying to work you through this. I'm asking you, like, what is the absolute value of 1? And you're going to say 1. Okay, but then you negate it. So now it's -1.
Yeah.
Okay, but then you're going to add 2 to it. So first of all, is the absolute value of 1 is 1. Then you negate it. So it's -1. Then you add 2. What does that become?
1.
Yes. Same thing here for the next one. Absolute value of 2.
2.
And then you negate it. So it's
And
-2. And then you add 2 to it.
you get 0.
Yes. Okay, next one here. Absolute value of 0 is 0. You negate 0, it's still 0. You get 2.
Yeah.
Okay, and just we're running out of time. We just want to make sure we get all this in. So I'm going to graph these points here for you. -2, 0. -1, 1. 0, 2. 1, 1, 2, 0. So this is the upside down V.
Yeah.
And then the graph of the other one, -1, is right here. What are the 2 intersection points that you see?
2 and 1. Or
It's very
sorry,
good.
3 and 1 and
Okay, so there's
-1.
3 and 1 right there. Is that what you meant?
-3 and 1. And
-3 and 1 is up there. Is that what
uh,
you meant? You can give me it
-1.
words. Like maybe it's better if you just say in words. It's right 3, right
Yeah.
3, and then down 1.
And 1.
Right 3 and down 1. So that's 3, -1.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then the other one is left 3,
-3, +1.
down 1.
Okay.
All right. All right, so that is going to do it for us for tonight. Good job.